So once again, good afternoon everyone. So the next topic is about the task assigning role relationship. So ito yung tinatawag natin na TAR, no? TARs. These are managerial rules in which A is not only authorized to get B to do something, but is also held accountable by their own manager for B's output. So, and its quality, quantity, timeliness within resources and procedures. So to discuss with us the task assignment role relationship, sige sir.
Yes po. Good afternoon po sa lahat. Good afternoon din. Wait, medyo na ano po ako sa... Okay po. Task assigning role relationship po sa akin ang medyo na ano lang ako kanina, medyo na bother lang po ako sa introduction ni Dean kasi parang medyo na ano po na ibang ano po ata ang na ano ko, ang mai-share ko ngayon. Pero more on leadership din po. Anyway po, feel free to share your insights later and of course para din po makorek kung medyo nalihis po yung aking topic ngayon about task assigning and role relationship. So pag sinabi pong task assigning...
Okay sir. Actually, you could also describe the task relationship model, no? You may focus on the task relationship model, yung task-oriented, task-focus, ganon.
Opo, kasi din ang
okay.
assumption ko po is kasi po na ano ako sa course outline po natin, executive leadership and supervisory development if I'm not mistaken po. So I have focused on two things regarding this topic po, and this is about ayaw po mag-share. Ayaw po mag-next. Ayan. Okay. Task-oriented leaders.
It's okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yan po. So, task-oriented leaders versus relationship-oriented leaders. So, ang task-oriented po is, sabi po dito, is task-focused leadership. It's a type of behavioral approach in which the leader focuses on the tasks that needs to be performed in order to meet certain goals or to achieve a certain performance standard. And then compared naman po sa relationship-oriented or relationship-focused leadership, it is a behavioral approach in which the leader focuses on the satisfaction, motivation, and the general well-being of the team members. So kung titignan po natin from the word itself, yung task-oriented leaders, pero bago po tayo pumunta sa mga leaders, of course, we have two types din po. In general, generally speaking, and in our personal, meron din po tayo dalawang klase ng tao. Those are the task-oriented, whether in work or in your personal life, or relationship-oriented people. And kung titignan po natin, I don't know if you have encountered this before or in your offices or even in your household, meron po talagang mga task-oriented people. Yung tipong pagdating mo sa office, example, when you entered into your offices, to your workplace, and then you ask for someone, na colleague mo, you ask and shared your experiences during weekend, you're about to tell about your past experiences, kamusta yung naging weekend mo, and then ang isasagot sa'yo bigla asan na yung hiningi ko sa yung hiningi ko sa yung file or related po sa work. So talagang ang banat niya is talagang work. Parang na-disregard niya man lang, dinisregard niya talaga yung kinikwento mo sa kanya. Yung nandun ka na sa momentum na ang ganda ng kwento mo pero bigla na lang na isi-switch niya, no? At hindi man lang ang tawag doon, empathize or ano man tawag doon, na hindi man lang tinouch, no, kung sinagot ka doon sa sinishare mo. And there are some people na talagang task-oriented. And then, meron din yung relationship-oriented. Those are people kabaliktaran naman. Pagpasok mo sa work, merong kang hinihingi na isang importanteng documents or importanteng records. Pero siya naman parang kabaliktaran naman, sinawalang bahala niya yung hihingi sa'yo. Bigla niya sinashare yung mga experiences niya, shinare niya yung buhay niya, no? Talagang hindi niya rin pinansin. So we at one point or another maybe encounter this type of people. And in relation to our course, this particular course, about executive leadership and supervisory development, we are going to relate these two types of leaders na merong behavioral approach. These are the task-oriented leaders versus relationship-oriented leaders. So kanina, we have mentioned about task-focused leadership, in which nakafocus lang talaga yung leader na yon sa performance, sa goal. These are the goal-driven leaders. These are the performance-driven leaders. Ang pinaka-focus nila at iniisip lang nila is what needs to be done for that goal to be achieved. Ano ba yung kailangan gawin para makamit mo tong goal na to, para ma-achieve mo tong specific goal na to. Imagine if you have a leader, I don't know if you have encountered this before, but if you have a leader na pagdating mo sa office, before office hours, you have arrived in your office, and then your leader, hindi ka pa umupo, no? Hindi pa umiinit yung pit mo dun sa upuan mo, no? And maaga ka pa. Then bigla kang sasalubungin, asa na yung pinapagawa ko sa'yo? Eto Mark, gawin mo to. Imagine that kind of orientation. And sometimes, tulad po ng nabanggit kanina, it depends on the culture. It is really a great factor of what culture do you belong when it comes to leadership, when it comes to type of, even to organizational structure or leadership, no? And imagine if you have a leader like that. So parang you need to adjust talaga, laking adjustment. And especially for those new employees, yung mga bago lang sa government or even yung mga bago sa private, if you are a private employee. So at some point, talagang we may encounter this type of leadership. And kabaliktaran naman, merong iba, relationship-oriented. Pagpasok mo sa office, kakamustahin ka muna kung kamusta ang naging weekend mo, kamusta ka, ayos ka lang ba, na-traffic ka ba masyado. So there are two types of leadership. And I believe as we share this topic, we may come up in a realization which type of leadership is more important, or what type of leadership we could adopt for future leaders like us, hopefully, and prayerfully, na kung meron po dito yung mga managers na, supervisors na, I know they might have some experiences that they can share later, and of course Dean. So tingnan po natin what are the differences. Let's try to differentiate these two type of leadership. Task-oriented leadership. These leaders focus on getting the necessary tasks or series of tasks in hand in order to achieve a goal. These are the people, these are the leaders na talagang kahit anong mangyari, kailangan yung goal, no? Naka-base talaga yung kanilang time, yung kanilang vision dun sa goal para ma-achieve. And on the other hand, relational-oriented leadership are focused on supporting, motivating, and developing the people on their teams and the relationships within. Mamaya malalapan po natin kung what are the disadvantages and advantages of each of those types. But for now, let's try to differentiate first. It's good that we have a leader na talagang focus-oriented, those that will drive you, that will push you to achieve your goal. On the other hand, it's also good for a leaders to focus on supporting, motivating, and developing the people in the teams and in the relationships within. And hindi ko po alam kung medyo maingay po kasi sa labas. Wait lang po, close ko lang po yung window po. I'm sorry for the interruption. Going back po, so katulad po ng nabanggit po kanina ng ilang mga previous reporters, and I love what Dean has said earlier, that if you are a good leader, you are a good motivator, and you can influence. Actually, yung pagkakabanggit po niya kanina, magduduplicate ng panibagong leader. Kasi you can say that that person, that leader is a good leader kapag nakapag-influence siya and to be a leader soon. And unfortunately lang talaga, there are some culture na talagang iba. So nakabase din po talaga sa culture. Iba-iba po kasi talaga ang orientation ng bawat organization, I believe so. And kanya-kanyang culture po yan. But anyway, if you think na tama yung ginagawa mo, eventually that person that you are trying to motivate, that you are trying to influence to be a good leader as well, I believe san man ano man ang kanyang marating, ma-attain niya man yung leadership na yan na kanyang gustong ma-attain, malaking tatanawin niya ng malaking utang na loob siguro, or talagang you have left a big legacy to that person or to that team. So dito natin makikita yung differences. They will often actively define the work and the roles required, put structures in place, and plan, organize, and monitor progress within the team. So if you are a task-oriented leader or a task-oriented person, talagang i-clarify mo the very definition of your work. What is your job title? What is your specific goal and roles, and even structures para lang ma-achieve yung goal na to. And it's good for a task-oriented na napakaklaro ng plano. This is a good advantage that you have a clear plan, you have an organized plan para ma-achieve yung goal na yon. Kasi nga, goal-driven ka eh. And you monitor the progress within the team. And on the other hand, the relational-oriented leadership, this style of leadership encourages good teamwork and collaboration through fostering positive relationships and good communication. Imagine an environment na walang relationship ang team. So there's no teamwork, no team player, no collaboration. Kaya pag task-oriented, minsan nalilimitahan ka lang dun sa sarili mo. You are putted in a box, placed in a box. Parang minsan na pe-place ka lang sa isang classroom, and the disadvantage or the threat is hindi ka makakuha ng ibang mga ideas, hindi ka mag-grow, mahirap mag-grow. On sa kabilang side naman, nagkakaroon ng encouragement to one another, nagkakaroon ng good teamwork, ng collaboration, kasi merong relationship, kasi merong communication. And I believe if you are a leader, if you are a good leader, I believe that one of the factor for success of the team, not only for the sake of your leadership, not only for personal attainment or personal achievement, kasi ang task-oriented, talagang more on achievements yan eh, more on personal achievements. Pero yung masasabi mong you have really achieved or meron ka talagang rewarding achievements is nagkaroon ka ng relationship dun sa team mo. It's not only you, pero dinala mo yung buong team. Nagkaroon ng good teamwork, nagkaroon ng group recognition, or ang sarap lang po no, bilang isang leader na hindi lang ikaw yung nakikilala, hindi lang ikaw yung nare-recognize, pero kasama yung buong team because you have established a good relationship, and that thing builds trust, yung tiwala, no? Talagang simpleng salita, that trust Pero I think it is a great impact for an organization kapag na-establish po itong kind of leadership. And then another thing, typically less concerned ang task-oriented leader with the idea of catering to employees and more concerned with finding the step-by-step solution required to meet specific goals. They don't care. I think they don't care kung ano ang nararamdaman mo. Baka masakit na yung ulo mo pero hindi mo lang ma-open kasi nga walang relationship, walang malayo, may gap. Because you think that he is the boss, she is the boss, she's my supervisor, he's my supervisor. And whatever he tells na gawin ko, kailangan kong gawin in spite of what I am suffering. May time po na ganun. Minsan, iba ng pakiramdam mo, you have big problems or maybe personal problems, even family problems. Pero nanineglect, nadi-disregard because of being a task-oriented leader. And itong nakakatakot, this task-oriented leader, kadalasan dito po nagfo-fall yung mga pagka-retention ng mga magre-retain ba yung employee mo, no? Yung iba, kaya yung iba ang dami pong naglilipat. Kaya nga po sa BPO may na define na word yung pagiging hopper. Hopper means palipat-lipat kasi nga they don't find their environment good, no? They don't feel some relaxation in the work environment. Napaka-toxic kumbaga. And the other relational oriented leadership, this one encourages good teamwork and collaboration tulad nga na nabanggit natin kanina. And of course, good communication. Kasi kapag nagkaroon po ng good communication, I believe na all will go smooth, lahat ng mga compliances, lahat ng mga target dates, madali na lang because of teamwork, because of communication. What else? When we say task-oriented, these managers typically create easy-to-follow schedules with clear requirements and deadlines. Ayan, talagang napaka-specific nila na dapat ma-complete mo to. Hindi ka man kumain. At yung iba nga, hindi na nakakapag-lunch dahil kailangan, ito yung sabi, kailangan, ito yung orientation sa kanila ng kanilang leader. Regardless kung okay ka o hindi, minsan nga namimiss mo pang mag-lunch na because of this type of orientation na sumasakop sa'yo. And of course, you being employee, kailangan mong mag-submit to the authority, especially in the government, especially in the military services. Yun nga po. It depends on the culture as well. So, relational-oriented leadership, this may also involve offering incentives like bonuses. Wow, sana all. No, mapapasana all ka eh. Providing mediation to deal with workplace or classroom conflicts. Having more casual interactions with team members to learn about their strengths and weaknesses. Creating a non-competitive and transparent work environment, or just leading in a personable or encouraging manner. So, on this type of leadership, matututo ka to contribute. You will be encouraged or motivated na mag-share ng yung ideas because merong relationship, no? Merong established relationship. And you can also learn about the other's strengths or weaknesses. Of course, ang ganda po na makita din sa iba kung ano yung mga experiences nila, kung ano yung naging strength nito, ano yung weaknesses nito. Or even creating non-competitive. No? Minsan kasi pag task-oriented ka, you are very driven in the goal that you need to achieve. And minsan you fall into unhealthy competition rather, no? Nagiging unhealthy na yung competition. I'm not saying that competition is bad all the time, pero merong yung tinatawag na good competition, healthy competition. Pero sometimes because of being task-oriented, no, talagang nagiging selfish ka, nagiging self-centered ka, na hindi mo na namamalayan, nakakasakit ka na pala ng iba. You have achieved in the ladder of success, no? Pagka nakita mo na yung pinakatuktok, na-achieve mo man yung pinaka-success ng buhay in profession, in your career. Pero at the end of the day, you would realize who are those, sino ba yung mga nandun na miss mo pala yung mas importante bagay, na miss mo pala yung relationship to others, na miss mo pala yung family mo, na miss mo pala yung mga kaibigan mo because of too much work. So, tingnan po natin what are the advantages and disadvantages of being a task-oriented person or leader. Ang advantage po niyan, it ensures that deadlines are met and jobs are completed. Wow, it's so good to hear that your deadlines are met on time, your job are completed, lahat ng pinagawa sa'yo talagang nagawa mo. And it's especially useful for team members who don't manage their time well. That's the good advantage of being task-oriented. Napupush ka to manage your time because you know that you have a deadline to meet. Because you know that you have a goal. And ang ganda rin naman po, every day in our profession, in our career, in the offices, na every day in our life, we find our goal. Na-achieve ba natin yung goal natin ngayong araw? Na-meet ba natin yung needs? Na-contribute ba natin yung dapat natin ma-contribute sa isang organization, sa section natin, sa offices natin? But the disadvantage is leaders don't tend to think much about their team's well-being. So dun nga nadi-disregard na yung nararamdaman ng iba. Imagine nyo po, no, bilang isang leader, sorry for using this term, pero minumura ka na pala sa likuran mo because of being too much task-oriented. Kaya nga po napakahalaga at pinagdidiinan po kanina ng mga previous presenter po natin gaano kahalaga yung respect dun sa workplace natin. How important respect is, how important encouraging one another, being in a team member. So imagine being a leader pero parang okay, tuwa ka, accomplish mo, pero ano yung return? Yung members mo pala, yung nasasakupan mo na pala ay may hinanakit na sa'yo. So this approach can suffer many of the flaws of autocratic leadership, including causing motivation and retention problems. Now, we cannot also blame others, especially with their orientation sa kanilang nakasanayan. For example, in military services, no, they used to tell, comply before you complain. No question kapag merong binaba, whether verbally man yan or pinadaan man yan sa tamang proseso, yung utos na yon, yung orders na yon, you have to follow. And ayun nga po, because of this, it causes motivation and retention problems, no, na demotivate yung ibang mga employees, na demotivate yung mga ibang workers because of disregarding kung ano na yung status nila, kung ano yung sitwasyon nila. Another advantage is it exemplifies strong understanding of how to get the job done, focusing on the necessary workplace procedures and delegating work accordingly to ensure that everything gets done in a timely and productive manner. Ang ganda po na this task-oriented leadership will train you to focus on your job. And maganda po yun kasi less mistakes ang nakocommit ng isang employee if they are being under this type of orientation. And of course, nagkakaroon din ng delegation. And we believe that delegation is also powerful. It's very important. Yung nabanggit kanina sa mga napanood nating video about distribution of labor. It's very important, but we also need to be careful because some leaders unauthorizedly and ano bang tawag doon? Abusing the authority. Ang galing mag-delegate ng mga trabaho pero siya wala nang ginagawa. Puro delegate na lang siya ng delegate. No, imagine that type of leader if you have that type of leader. Talagang hindi natin maiiwasan no na mainis. Tapos siya pa yung malaki yung sahod no. But of course, yun din po yung advantage. Natuturuan tayo na magkaroon ng personal responsibility because of delegation. We commit ourselves into that ownership na tinatawag because of delegation. But the disadvantage, this may affect rigid structure and excessive task management can also diminish company culture and backfire for more self-motivated workers. Kaya nga ang iba lumilipat, yung iba umaalis. Yes, there are some job na talagang anytime you will be relieved tulad sa mga military services. Kahit permanent ka, kahit meron kang plantilla, pero kahit nga minsan hindi ganun ka-related dun sa mga experiences and trainings mo, pero kinakailangan ma-relieve ka because of merong bagong ipapalit. What else? Ano pa po? In relationship-oriented leadership style, ito naman po yung advantages. Team members are in a setting where the leader cares about their well-being. Ayan, parang napapahalagahan po tayo sa ginagawa natin, maliit man o malaki, na appreciate yung ginagawa mo. Leaders understand that building positive productivity requires a positive environment where individuals feel driven. Kaya po yung iba talagang motivated to work araw-araw kahit gaano ka-traffic sa EDSA. Talagang papasok on time just because of a good environment, because of non-toxic environment. And napakahalaga po na ma-consider po natin yun if you are currently a leader or a supervisor. But disadvantages, if taken too far, the development of team chemistry may detract from the actual tasks and goals at hand. Kaya nga po, ang ganda rin ng sinabi kanina na not because of too much familiarity, not because of meron na kayong relationship with your boss, with your leader, supervisor or manager, pwede ka nang mag-take advantage. To the sense na parang relax ka na, complacent ka na kasi okay naman si mabait naman siya, mabait naman leader ko, considerate naman siya. Nakakalimutan natin yung task na ginagawa natin araw-araw. Nakakalimutan natin ma-accomplish because of too reluctant. Ang sabi nga po sa isang word, too much familiarity breeds contempt. And nakakatakot na because of those, meron palang disadvantage yung relationship-oriented na ito. Baka maging complacent na lang tayo at kasi okay naman sa kanya, okay na yan. So minsan, di na natin ginagawa yung best natin. Another advantage, personal conflicts. Ayan, dissatisfaction with job, resentment, and even boredom can severely drive down productivity. Kaya nga po napaka-importante ng communication. Kapag na-establish po yung relationship, nagkakaroon ng communication. And even personal conflicts can be easily disputed, can be easily fixed, even dissatisfaction kasi napag-uusapan. So these types of leaders put people first to ensure that such problems stay at a minimum. Ayan, inuuna niya yung tao niya kesa sa ibang bagay. And disadvantages, employees feeling overwhelmed and needing more direction. A lack of clarity may cause confusion when it comes to tasks and deadlines. Yun din po yung disadvantage. Ang employee, yun nga po sabi ko kanina, no, nawalan na ng direction, nawalan na ng sense of direction and sense of focus because of overwhelmed feelings na complacent na sila, relax na sila, nagpa-lax na. So a lack of clarity may cause confusion when it comes to tasks and deadlines. Ayan, nakakalimutan na yung mga dapat na gawin sa deadlines. So yun din po yung maging careful din po tayo. So kung tatanungin po tayo, which type of leadership, what type of orientation ang pwede nating gamitin or mas magandang gamitin. Kasi each has its own advantages and disadvantages. According to, meron pa po pala, no? Team members may be more willing to take risks. Ayan din ang isa sa magandang advantage ng relationship, being under relationship-oriented leadership. Yung team members mo, because meron kang na-establish na relationship sa kanila, may trust. And if you establish that trust, give the full trust. No? Talagang ibigay mo yung buong trust if you are a leader. At ang maganda po doon, team members may be more willing to take risks because they know that the leader will provide the support if needed. Kaya nga po, ang sarap magtrabaho sa isang environment na kapag alam mo na nasa tama ka at sinusuportahan ka ng leader mo. Ang sarap po magtrabaho sa isang government office or even private, no? If you know that you're doing your best. Pero ang saklap lang, kahit yung tulad nga ng iba, sabi po ng iba, based maybe on their experiences or on their observations, hinihila pababa pag, alam mo yun, masyadong pakitang gilas to, masyadong pabibo naman to. Pero, very fortunate, no? Lucky for those na merong leaders na ganyan because they know that and they have their trust, no, na pinagkatiwala sa inyo. Don't abuse that trust. Maganda po na maipakita, masuklian din po if you have that type of leaders na binigay yung full trust sa inyo. And then what is the disadvantage? Employees can think deadlines are always soft and can be extended and productivity may decrease. Ayan po ang problema. Babagsak ang productivity kapag too much, no? Too much ang naibigay na trust, no? And because of that, okay na yan. Kahit late lang, okay naman. Considerate naman yung boss. Pagbibigyan tayo yan. Close na, tropa natin yan. Barkada natin yan. Remember our professionalism. Kapag nasa office, be professional. Tulad nga po ng sinabi ni Sir Phil kanina. Maging professional tayo. Put yourself into your own place. Dahil hindi ka pa nandyan. So kung saan ka nararapat, try to always practice. Ilugar mo yung sarili mo. Not because mabait yung boss, not because supportive yung boss, not because he's relationship-oriented, you would take advantage. So that's why we need to be careful as well. We need to be vigilant as well. Kailangan maging observative po tayo sa mga ganung bagay. So like what I've asked, dito na po ako magtatapos. Ayan, nabanggit na po natin yan. If you were to ask which leadership type is better, according to meta-analysis by Brook in 2006, results concluded that task-oriented leadership and relationship-oriented leadership produce a relatively similar perceived team effectiveness. However, sabi po dito, actual team productivity was higher for relationship-oriented led teams than for task-oriented teams. So, when it comes to efficacy, medyo similar sila, medyo relative, magkalapit naman sila. Pero pagdating daw po sa team productivity, maybe na-consider dito kung hindi lang yung kung na-achieve ba yung goal, kung na-perform ba yung task ng maayos, kung na-deliver ba yung project ng maayos, na-fulfill ba yun ng tama. Pero siguro yung kabuuan, no, kasama yung team, mas po-productive ang relationship-oriented kesa po dun sa task-oriented. Pero let me tell you po, no, what is the best? Sa tingin niyo po, what is the best orientation? What is the best approach, behavioral approach in leadership? Sabi po dito, the most effective leaders are both highly task-oriented and highly relationship-oriented. Ayun po. So, pwede po pala natin na i-adapt both, no? Maaring kunin natin kung ano yung mga advantages and let's consider the disadvantages of each of those. And I think that's the best approach. Yun lang po. Sorry po, and if you have insights to share, Ayan po. Max po.
Lang. Okay, so again, the people-oriented leadership and why it is important, no ma? So as a leader, which do you consider more important? So the well-being of your team or the effective achievement of your company objectives? So uh, again, when we say people-oriented leadership, no? Diba? Sabi nga natin a while ago, no? It must be a combination because of individual differences. No, lagi sinasabi natin 'yun yung individual differences. Yes, naniniwala ako doon, no? So, the task-oriented place emphasis on the task at hand, whereas people-oriented priorities the individual doing it, no? So, the task-oriented leadership are more likely to impose a method on their team, whereas people-oriented leaders will work with them to decide on how things should be done. No? So, yun yung mga ano natin. We need to take note that no leader will fit neatly into one leadership style for the duration of their career. And it's uniquely that doing so would be beneficial to them, their team, or their organization. So, refining your understanding of different leadership style in the situation that warrant them, you stand to become a more effective leader. So, if again, a combination is the best way for us to adapt because of an individual differences. And nakita naman natin yung pros and cons actually ng dalawa.